here's one for you on Jaws. Have you heard of the Lady of the Dunes?
No.
I have, but
You have.
Please inform Heidi.
So
please enlighten me.
So Stephen King's son, Joe Hill, and I only say that, we should just call him Joe Hill at this point. I mean, he is a well-published author, but it does help the fact that it's Stephen King's son. He has pointed out that this woman who was killed and found, this Jane Doe, in the dunes there where they filmed it in Martha's Vineyard, is actually in Jaws. And she's right in the not opening montage. I'm sorry. She's in the montage when everybody's coming to the island for the 4th of July. There's a woman that looks very similar that turns her head back and kind of looks at the camera, and her face is kind of the composite sketch and the picture that they've released of the body that was found. So I looked for her in more parts of the film when I watched it again on Sunday, but didn't see it. But it's that weird thing. It's another element to Jaws that's like super, super creepy. And is that her? Is that really her? And then, there's no I'm sure if she's just an extra, there's probably no production roll call sheet for 1975 that even exists, let alone was she given a box lunch and $10 to be in that scene that day? Because that's how it used to be. So who knows?
That's crazy. I love it.
Oh, creepy. But yeah, that's creepypasta stuff. Yeah, you want to Google that. Ugh.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
So Blobfest 2020, the festival is coming from within the house. Give us a rundown of what's happening, because you're taking this all online, so nobody has to touch anyone else.
Right. So we thought Blobfest this year was we started planning in November, which was almost 2 months earlier than normal. We just had a lot of things that went well last year that we thought, all right, we've got to get these things in place. And then we had a super secret thing that we were all set to reveal to the world that this was going to be something that we had never done before. That fell apart when COVID-19 happened. So we decided, we waited and waited as long as we could. And with Pennsylvania the way it was Governor Wolf going to allow festivals, conventions, those kind of things? And then it was also our own call of whether or not this was the safest course of action, because we've had numbers from 20 to 25,000 people descend on Phoneixville for Blobfest. And that's a scary amount of people in one location. And then you don't want to be the epicenter of a town breakout. You don't want to have the responsibility of that. So, and would people turn out? Would the vendors turn out? So we decided that, we should pull the trigger and just say, let's do it all virtual from home. So with that, we decided that we were going to record new footage of a Friday night. So we were going to complete our Friday night show, but film it all ahead of time. So we had a contest for Miss Blobfest, which we deemed this year Miss Blobfest Universe, because you don't even have to be from Phoneixville or attend this year, that you could have submitted a video to it. We even had a woman who was in California submitted a video this year for Miss Blobfest. So we decided that we were going to open it up. We did Blob Across America, where we had people.
Thank you for bringing that back, please.
Yeah.
Things need to be passed across America.
Well, us brought it back into the cultural zeitgeist, I guess. So we had to bring it back again. Right. But we said pass something red from right to left or left to right. We'll edit it together. And we had people at the Hollywood sign, and we even had a gentleman in England. So we got pretty far with this hands across America with the Blob. So we decided to do that. You'll see that if you didn't see it online, that's going to be part of the show. And then we did all of our little segments, our little jokes. The Blob's going to attack you. We have Dash Daring, who's our news broadcaster host. He's going to be filling you in. We have the short film contest this year. We got several that we did, over 18 and under 18, and then fan favorite. So we put those votes up. So we're still going to have a lot of the Friday night show. It's going to be 1 hour on Friday, which ends with the run out. So what we did was we asked people to send us their video of of them running out of their home in fear. So we compiled all those. We mixed it with footage from the movie and footage of previous runouts. So we do have like Santa Claus ran out last year. So we have Santa Claus runs by. We have Charlie the Alien, who is a local man who dresses up as an alien and runs out. We even have GoPro footage that I was fortunate enough to get over the last couple of years from different people who were running out of the theater. So you're going to know what it's like to go through the doors and see all those people. But it's like Mardi Gras. Like I've stood on the marquee with the balloon with a camera filming people, and you can't see the sidewalks from one end to the other. It's just packed. So we decided that would be the end of the show, and then come back on Saturday from noon to I think it's like 11. We're going to have double features for you to watch of The Little Shop of Horrors, the original, which most people haven't seen, the Roger Corman. Another Roger Corman, A Bucket of Blood, with the late, great Dick Miller. I mean, that's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
And then we'll end it with House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price. And those will all be paired with The Blob. And all this is on Vimeo. And you can, you pay a $25 ticket for your household. You get to watch the whole thing. And then we have other things. We have a spook show. So the spook show has really caught on in the last couple of years. And what it is it's Daughters of Horror, the really, really terrible film. It's almost impossible to sit through. But we have Mr. Lobo, who's been a host of ours for years. He actually tells you what the spook show is. We have actors that have been filmed. They'll come in, they'll do bits and pieces to actually make the film better, which is kind of nice.
That's awesome.
I've sat through it last year. There's a ghost. There was a puppet bat. We had a guy dressed as Bela Lugosi eating popcorn and saying like, "Boy, this movie is terrible." Little things like that. So that's actually going to be a way to see it, where we only had that for 75 people each year could see that. Now everybody can see it. And the nice part is too that for us, if you've never been to Blobfest, you live too far away, you moved away, you now have a chance to be a part of it and see it, and then consider, well, next year I want to come to this. Like, you're not going to see the street fair. We put the street fair online with all of our vendors. We do have T-shirts and posters and enamel pins and stickers, magnets, all those things that you can still get that Blobfest experience. And for a lot of people who have moved away, they're like, I still need my Blobfest shirt, even though I moved away. We've never sold them online. We've been selling them online now for, I think, almost 10 days. So, and to see Connecticut, California, Florida, we expect Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, people, they'll come to us, New Jersey, but to see, Illinois, people, Ohio, people want this shirt. They want this poster. It really does it makes us feel really good about it. And I think we did it in like 3 or 4 weeks where we just put everything together. The T-shirt was already, that was already being made. We kind of changed it. We twerked it. We put a COVID, we made it COVID-19, kind of like marking the time. It's the Blob with a surgical mask on.
No, Dr. Fauci would thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And then we added little things so that we changed the poster. The poster was going to be one thing. Our artist, Chris Garofalo, better known as Quilt Face, he changed, it's a glow in the dark poster this year, and he changed it so it would be more like ooze out from home, that kind of thing. So we tried to mark the time and the moment, the fact that we were doing it at home for our 21st year, which we couldn't believe. We got to 21, and now we're just kind of like, okay, we were old enough to drink. We really wanted to celebrate this year, and everything just got changed. I mean, like everything. I mean, have you had a normal birthday yet? No. I mean, or celebrated someone's normal birthday. I was fortunate enough in February that I was able to go out with my family, and
right under the wire.
Yeah.
It literally
right in.
days, and I even went to Toy Fair in New York City, which is mind-boggling to me that I was at Toy Fair in New York City, and then even then, under everybody's breath, nobody from China is here. Nobody was represented from China in all those toy companies. So we all had that as a fear, and I still can't believe that I was in New York City in February, and I've been fine. So I've been fortunate enough. But this is Blobfest this year. We're really excited about it. It's just a big showcase for us of what Blobfest is, and we hope people like Heidi will come and visit us next year for this. We don't know if our super secret thing that we had in the works is going to happen next year. It was kind of a kickoff to something else, and now we're just like, well, it's on hold. So, we'll see. But we've had an interest from someone else now next year who's interested in coming. So we're going to see how that's going to play out. So it's growing in popularity, and we're actually noticing that when we say we're with Blobfest, people are starting in the industry. It's of the horror and science fiction. People are actually starting to notice. I mean, 21 years is a long time to have a festival, especially one as unique as ours.
You would hope someone would pick up the phone.
Surprised how much people were willing to pay to be, I'm running out. Yeah. And we were like, wow, this is great. Like, this is another source of revenue for us, that people really want to do this. And we realized how popular it was. So we started to offer, if you were a member of the Colonial, we have over 2,000 members now. You actually got first chance at buying those tickets. So, it became this thing where membership had its privileges. You can now buy your ticket for the run out a day ahead of time. We even have people that, we've had people scalping their run out tickets already. So,
wow.
We kind of frown on that. But at the same time, you're kind of like, wow, they're scalping these now.
Right. Like, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's not, we don't recommend it, but.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, wow, we're a scalpable thing now.
Exactly.
But last year, because the run out has become so popular, we called it the ooze out, where we oozed out of the balcony. Rarely do we open the balcony for the run out, because we don't want anybody to run down the stairs, and, you don't want anybody tripping. So we let them slowly come down, and then they could kind of come out after. Like, they were the survivors that made it out. We do a big thing with fire extinguishers at the end and shoot it off, after the last person gets out. Like, we've contained it, it's safe, and then some people can ooze out. But yeah, it's a fun thing. I'm fortunate enough to I paid to do it 1 year, and then I think I've done it with GoPros 2 or 3 years. So I've actually gotten a chance to do it. It is a lot of fun, but it is a 30-second woohoo. And then you're like, okay,
right. Yeah.
How do I get back in? How do I do this? But it's interesting, because most people think they're going to see the movie on Friday night, and we don't even show the movie. We have a stage show, a band, we have all these little skits prepared, and then and then you get a chance to run out. So that makes it a lot of fun.
And it seems like there's a low bar for entry for folks. You can get tickets, you can go on. And I suspect at some point in the future, it will be, oh, I was there for that one.
Right.
Yeah.
That hopefully this is the anomaly. Hopefully this is the last time it's oozing remotely.
I think it's going to be fun next year to see the 2020 shirt walking around, because some of those people, I'm sure we'll have the locals, you can see Phoneixville when we're looking at the spreadsheet of who bought them. And there's a lot of people there who, some people that got to get my shirt, every year it's got to get my shirt. But to see other people, I know next year I'm going to be thanking them and asking them where they're from. So that we can see exactly how far people have come. We've got numerous people who are telling us, told us last year they actually book a hotel. And that was an early phone call we were getting. Hey, I know I can't book my flight yet, but I need to book my hotel. Are you having Blobfest? So we were actually starting to get that inquiry, and it's always something we're thinking about, and like how far, we started to plan. I mean, obviously this year was November. So it's a big event. Will it ever be like Macy's, where literally that person has 1 day off and then they start planning for next year parade? I'd love to think so, that we'll get to that point.
That person is you, Bob, by the way.
Yeah.
That would be me. Yes, I would be one of those people. Actually, the woman who plans it, her name is Luann Roth, and she does a fantastic job trying to organize the insanity, the chaos, everything that goes on. I mean, when you have a bunch of creative people who love monster movies and sci-fi films, you can get some unique people in there, and we've all got fun ideas. So she's kind of has to go through the whole thing and say, all right, this is doable, that's not doable. I got to work with this artist. I got to find this person. I've got to get this person to the right place at the right time to make sure everything gets printed. So she really is, she's the quarterback who's trying to make sure that all the players are moving in the right direction so that we can have a fun event. And this is probably, I call it our Super Bowl. This is our Super Bowl. And in a lot of ways, it's also it's kind of our invitation to come and see Phoneixville at one of our like unique and best events. And I know so many people have come up to me and said, I moved to Phoneixville for Blobfest. Like I came up from Philly. I saw this great little town. There was all these great places to eat. There was this big event. You guys have your own movie theater. And then you have this completely unique event that you can't do anywhere else. And if I live here, I can just walk down the street to it, so that's really enticing. Someone else had sent me a message. I'm glad you're reopened again because you're the reason I moved to town. And I got that the other day and I was like, wow, I'm like, this is, it's fantastic to hear that we are the, I don't know, we're the welcoming bureau of Phoneixville, that you're going to come here for this sci-fi convention, street fair, rockabilly, run out insanity. And then you're saying, I want to live there. That's a nice little town.
You can get tickets for the virtual Blobfest, which starts this Friday, July 12th, at the Colonial Theater's website, which is thecolonialtheater.com.
Be sure to follow Why the Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel for some additional great Why content. If you're so inclined, please leave us a review and let us know how we're doing.
Today's show is produced by myself and Heidi Hedquist. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our graphic designer is Samantha Mustonen. Our intern is Randy Jeanette. The theme song was performed by the Electrosyntho-Magnetic Polyphonic Orchestra. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?